When it comes to kettlebell training, most everyone at this point in the game can acknowledge that they're an extremely effective modality of weightlifting when it comes to improving your overall level of strength and conditioning, as well as general quality of pain-free, explosive, and fluid movement. But one of the things that I think keeps most from adopting them as a mainstay in their programming is just an overall sense of intimidation by them. They just don't know where to begin. And leading that sentiment is the question of what weight you need to start off with. So today, I'm going to discuss the 5 rules I follow when talking first-time kettlebell owners through their first investment in them, as well as give you a broad suggestion on what size or weight to purchase. So this video isn't necessarily going to be a review on what brand or what type of kettlebell that you should buy, although me personally, I'm partial to the single cast kettlebells from Kettlebell Kings. I think they're the best, but more so a general guideline on how to pick the right weight to start out with for you. Got it? Cool. Okay, so this first guideline to take into consideration is going to be your budget, or how much you're willing to spend. Generally speaking, anytime you purchase any weight online, whether it be a kettlebell, dumbbell, plate, specialty bar, whatever it might be, that needs to be delivered to your doorstep, you're gonna get dinged not just for the cost of that weight, but for the cost of freight shipping. And that gets expensive, usually anywhere from $1 to $3 per pound, depending upon the shape, size, and weight of the package, as well as the company you use. FedEx and UPS being the most efficient and effective, but also the most expensive. So let's run the math so that you don't get caught off guard when making this initial purchase. With kettlebells, the average cost of a well-built one, like the single cast bells I use from Kettlebell Kings, is gonna run you typically about $2.50 to $3 per pound for the weight, and an additional $1 to $3 per pound for freight. So if you buy a brand new 24 kg or 53 pound kettlebell, you can expect to pay as much as $200. The good news though is usually a lot of the times the high-end manufacturers like Kettlebell Kings run sales that front the cost of shipping to help you out. So if you want to save, wait until sales offer free shipping and buy them quickly, because they typically run out of stock very fast whenever they run these free shipping sales. If this sounds expensive to you, it's because it is. Ultimately, my philosophy when it comes to buying kettlebells is buy once, cry once. But as long as you don't keep them out in the rain like a jackass, a good kettlebell will last your lifetime as well as your kids. So be smart and shop sales, but view it as an investment, because that's exactly what it is. You're purchasing something that has the ability to take the place of your gym membership. Over time, you'll end up saving money though, so it is a good investment. Now, on to the second consideration, one that, trust me, you're gonna wanna take into account if you don't want your wife bitching at you for more than the fact that you bought them instead of something that she wanted you to buy for her in the first place. And that's the space allotment that you're going to need for them. Now, honestly, if let's say you're only planning on buying just one kettlebell to start things off with, then this isn't much of an issue, because kettlebells don't really chew up too much space, which is honestly one of my favorite things about them, their mobility. But if you're looking to buy multiple kettlebells and multiple weights, or even multiple pairs of kettlebells like I did, you need to take into consideration where you're going to keep them. So before buying, know where you want to put them. Okay, for the third consideration, you'll need to take into account your existing level of baseline strength. What I mean by that is this. If let's say you've been lifting weights for a while and have a solid foundation of strength in the fundamental movements that comprise most of any conventional training plan, your body would make strength adaptations much faster than someone who is just starting things out with not just kettlebells, but training in general. So obviously, I'd advise the stronger and more experienced lifter to buy a heavier kettlebell than the lifting newbie would. And the reason why I do that is the fourth consideration when choosing the weight that you're going to buy and use. And that's that you should anticipate and adjust purchase choices based on future strength gaining projections as well. This is pretty self-explanatory, but something that a lot of people run into the problem of when buying kettlebells. And that's that a lot of the guys become victims of their own accelerated strength gains. Essentially, you get too strong too fast to be able to utilize the kettlebell that you purchased. In other words, you experience diminishing returns on a weight that used to stress your body but no longer does so because you've adapted to it. This is the exact reason why I always advise and urge people to go with the heavier option if they're weighing their options between two weights. And the fifth and last consideration to take into account when picking out a kettlebell to purchase and use is what your goal with it is in the first place. Are you trying to use the weight more for conditioning, where you can anticipate needing to use higher rep ranges? If that's the case, the average lifter would obviously choose a lower weight, say a 25 to 50 pound kettlebell. Now let's say instead of conditioning, where you're using high reps, your chief goal is maximal strength and muscle building, where you're going to use lower rep ranges. If that's the case, then you'll want to choose a relatively heavier weight, say in the 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 70 pounds, or up range. So yeah, your goal plays a huge role in the weight that you end up choosing. Expanding on that, another thing to consider regarding your goals and the kettlebell movements you choose to use to achieve them is the general weight you can handle in certain exercises. What I mean by that is you'll be able to adapt to handling heavier loads faster when they're less complex movements, like your fundamental ones like presses, pulls, hinges, squats, and carries. But the more complex coordination-based movements, like let's say your Turkish get-ups, windmills, and bent presses that require a lot more of a learning curve, will require and allow for lighter weights to be used for a longer overall period of time. At the end of the day, my best advice for you is this. If you're new to kettlebell training and are concerned about what weight you need to start off with, err on the side of caution and go with a lighter weight so that your form can improve without concern for injury. But don't go so light that if you're only budgeting for one weight and get too strong too fast, you need to buy another one almost immediately. And that's why, if you can afford to, I always advise people, instead of going for pairs, to go for two separate weights. One in the 25 to 50 pound range for more of your conditioning type workouts. Remembering that if that sounds heavy for conditioning, you're most definitely going to adapt quickly to that weight and get stronger very fast. So don't be shy about that and don't be concerned about that. And the second weight being in the 50 pounds or heavier weight zone that can be for more strength and size building, as well as a challenge for the more technical lifts that we talked about, like the windmills, get-ups, or even the bent presses. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, on top of what goals you've got for the kettlebells, it's gonna boil down to you needing to use a little bit of intuition as well as trial and error to go along with both budget and space allotment, and on top of that, existing strength plus future strength projections when choosing your kettlebell weight that you're going to begin with. Take all of these considerations into account, shop sales that focus on free shipping, and you'll be able to take advantage of these beautiful beasts without breaking the bank or your back in the process. Hey guys, thanks for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it and want more delivered just like this in the future, then do me a favor before you leave by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel, and pressing the alert icon so you get notified the instant every new video drops on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if you haven't done so already, then please make sure you join my brand new Kettlebell Warriors Brotherhood for free by clicking either the image that you see right over there to the right, the pinned link at the top of the comment section, or the very first link you see down in the description box below. This brand new community provides a week's worth of follow-along kettlebell workouts led by yours truly, daily accountability, motivation, Insider instruction and coaching you'll only find inside there, and overall a more organized, systematic approach to helping you get fast, badass, and most importantly, sustainable results while creating a greater sense of overall mental clarity to help improve your daily decision-making skills, which ultimately helps enrich your life. Bottom line, this service gives you exactly what you need to see the results that have been eluding you for far too long. The daily steps you need to take with both your diet and exercise, and myself holding your ass accountable to following through with each of those actions. So to get free access to it, just click over there or down there and I'll take you to the free registration page. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. MANdler out.